What would life have been like if the American colonists did not have the ability to bear arms against the British? Possibly that America would be part of the United Kingdom. We would not be celebrating Independence Day. What I know for sure is that we would not have the Bill of Rights granting us the freedom we have today. The Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution is one of the most controversial topics in America. But why is it that so many people seek to limit and uproot the rights granted by the amendment, given that the colonists' ability to bear arms was the only thing that prevented the full takeover by Great Britain in the 18th century? I'm very passionate about the Second Amendment for the reason of defense, protection, and individual liberty. The Second Amendment must have minimal limitations and not be repealed. As far as limitations go, it could range from the magazine size of an AR-15 to the age limit being raised. Nonetheless, the limitations restrict the ability of the American citizens to utilize the right to bear arms to the full extent of the civil liberty granted by the Founding Fathers. The original purpose of the Second Amendment, the psychology of good and evil, and the debate of gun control all play a role in the Second Amendment's survival. What is the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution? Written on December 17, 1971, the amendment states, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." As many already know, this amendment grants citizens of the United States the right to firearms and other armament as a precaution against a potential tyrannical government. This is the exact reason why it should remain in full effect. Although many say that no one needs an AR-15, that is simply incorrect. Based on the amendment, it never specifies what armaments are qualified under the law. However, it does state that it is necessary to the security of the free state for its citizens to bear arms. Many also say that we will never have a tyrannical government again. That is also incorrect. There is a saying that history repeats itself. I'm sure a lot of us have heard this before. This statement I believe to be true. Further, that the country, as well as the world, goes through a cycle. In regards to that, America will eventually see itself under the rule of a tyrannical government, just as Great Britain was to colonial America. Therefore, the Second Amendment's purpose must remain as the leading factor to keep the amendment in full effect. No limitations and no repeal. What constitutes the right to bear arms in this country? There is good and evil in America, just like the rest of the world. On Psychology Today, on August 26, 2013, Abigail Fagan states in The Real Meaning of Good and Evil that good means lack of self-centeredness, empathizing with other people, putting their needs before your own, potentially sacrificing your own well-being for the sake of others. On the contrary, evil people are those who are unable to empathize with others, placing their own needs and desires first. They are selfish, self-absorbed, and narcissistic, which does apply to dictators like Stalin and Hitler, and to serial killers and rapists. They can't sense other people's emotions or suffering, which make other people just objects to them, which result in their brutality and cruelty. Regarding the Second Amendment, you will see people on any part of that spectrum. What matters is that the more good people have the same abilities, if not greater, than the evil people. This is exactly why firearms must remain in the hands of good, law-abiding citizens of this country. Limiting law-abiding citizens give evil people the ability to strike harder than before, because not only do good people not have protection, but the evil people do not care about anything but their evil desires, which grant them the power to easily overrule the law while carrying out their wickedness. Understandably, people have been calling for gun control. There have been many evil acts against good in this country, and every time it ends, good comes out on top. Gun control is one of the most controversial topics in America, yet it is truly the most simplistic to discuss. The idea behind gun control is to prevent mass killings, but at the same time, people do not realize that you're potentially restricting good people. On May 28, 2022, in the Washington Post, Frederick J. Frommer recalls a time where a Supreme Court justice called for strict gun control laws, which no doubt would be effective in reducing mass shootings. He goes on to say, people should demand a repeal of the Second Amendment, states former Supreme Court Justice Stevens in 2018. The question is, under the notion that the Second Amendment is repealed, what stops criminals and the mentally ill from acquiring a firearm? If the law did, then we wouldn't have criminal activity. Good is the only thing that will stop evil. This is why the Second Amendment should not be repealed. To conclude, we can gather that based on this evidence I brought to you today, the Second Amendment is important and must be protected. Today we discussed the original purpose of the Second Amendment, the psychology of good and evil in relation to the amendment, and the debate of gun control, which do all play a role in the Second Amendment's survival. Therefore, the Second Amendment must have minimal limitations and not be repealed. Be sure to remember that the rights included in the Second Amendment grant the very rights that colonial America used against the tyrannical British Empire in the 18th century. Thank you.